The Rogers MasterCard, the best no annual fee cashback card in Canada. Visit rogersbank.com.
Estamos rompiendo la discoteca, la fiesta no para, apenas comienza. C'est comme si, c'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la.
Good morning, Toronto. It is 7:23. We're going 4 wide on the couch. This is Breakfast Television, and I believe Frank Vergini's speaking today. Are you talking to us today?
I thought you were going to.
He was talking to us yesterday, too.
Eventually.
Yeah,
That wasn't me.
That wasn't you, sorry. That was someone
sorry.
else. That was Space Frank.
I was
Off camera.
Yeah.
Yes, Space Frank.
I was taken over yesterday.
Right.
The spirit consumed you.
Yeah, I had many nicknames people gave me yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Give us some. What?
Yeah,
what,
many of those that I can't share.
I was going to say, are they safe for work?
Based upon,
Yeah.
And my son was like, "Did you bring that home? I want to wear that today."
I trust my son.
No pod to cone hat.
Yes.
All right, quick story here. Food delivery apps.
Yeah.
I tip regardless of how the service is, regardless of how the food actually is. I feel like I need to tip while placing my order. Are we all tippers before the order comes in?
Yes.
Makes sense?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have.
yeah.
And then there's sometimes where I regret that I did.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll dive into that in a
Tip
second.
regret. Yeah.
Lots of tip regret.
The tee-up is for this reason. DoorDash is testing a pilot project. If you don't tip delivery drivers, you're going to have to wait longer for the food potentially. If you enter $0 on the tip amount, an alert actually comes up saying it may take longer for you to get the food. The company said in a statement, quote, "As independent contractors, Dashers have full freedom to accept or reject offers based on what they view as valuable and rewarding." End of statement. In 2019, DoorDash restructured its payments to give 100% of tips going to drivers. The knock-on effect of this, however, makes orders without tips less appealing to drivers. At the end of the day, there's a couple of lanes to this highway. Are you okay, Devo, I'll start with you. The less the tip, the longer the wait. Are you okay with that?
Phrasing.
Yes.
I want to say, the one I use is you have to prepay, right? So I use Uber Eats more than, I don't use DoorDash, and it's just, Uber Eats is more convenient for me. So you tip ahead of time. But like Frankie, I have regret a lot of the time because I get a mess up. I get like some sort of soupy
It's not the
kind
way
of
you
thing.
would have wanted
It's a little messy. It could have been the packaging, the way it was put together in the restaurant. I don't know if it's the driver's fault or the restaurant's fault. It kind of falls on that. But I think with this saying, I'm going to pick and choose which delivery I'm doing, I don't know, that's a slippery slope. Now, like your service, DoorDash itself, is going to go downhill. And your customers are not going to appreciate that. I don't believe the Uber Eats drivers know what the tip is until after the delivery is
Oh, okay.
done.
I wasn't sure about that. Because, I've been tipping ahead of time, too. I use Uber Eats more, so I'm not familiar with
And then you
the speeds
can
of
do
it.
the priority delivery,
Yeah.
which you pay a little more for. I think if you want to do that way, tier that. But also then their statement, they said, we've changed it so 100% of the tips go to the driver. Shouldn't it always have gone to the driver?
It's not always the case.
No,
Right?
there's lots
Yeah.
taken
Depends on
off the top there.
Go ahead,
I feel sometimes when a wage is made up of a tip, that's the company's way of kind of offloading the salary and the fairness of the wage onto the customer, as opposed to they should be being able to pay a fair wage, and then the tip is literally what a tip is, which is a bit of a bonus for good service. And I'd like to know what that service is before I'm tipping it. So I feel like if the companies would just pay fairly, we wouldn't be caught up in this discussion as much.
There's a lot of delivery services outside of the food world that are by piece. So just like even if they're delivering items throughout, so if they're delivering for Staples, Walmart, or whatnot, so the more pieces they get out per day, the more they're going to make with that day. So that's typical standard delivery modes and different models that are out there. If I'm a driver and I'm looking about how to make the most amount of money in the minimal amount of time and really pay for my wages and my gas and my expenses, I will pick the ones with the greatest value, the biggest tips that are out there.
Yeah.
So that makes full sense. So there's some transparency as well that's there. As a consumer, on the flip side of it, how do I feel about that? If I have a great service, great food, delivered to me when I need it, I'm willing to pay for that and to tip for that. However, sometimes when it comes to you, it'd be great if you can pull the tip back. You know what I mean?
No, but that
Yeah.
listen, that's all I'm saying is I think on like I use Skip.
I use Skip.
I
as well.
tip. It doesn't matter what the service is. If I'm I think the type of customer you've been to that app should matter in that.
Agreed.
Because if you tip a lot without knowing what the service is, without knowing what condition the food's going to be, whether all the cheese is going to be at the top of your container of whatever you ordered, I think you have to look the other way. For me personally, regardless of what kind of tip it is, and I consider myself a decent tipper, I don't like the picking and choosing on that. And the other thing too is sometimes the restaurant can have a big say in delays as well.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Huge say.
Yes.
So I think it's a slippery slope, but
But you can follow that as well. You can see when they picked it
can.
up. You
Yes,
can
you
see.
can.
You can
Oh, I
actually
love that
watch
part.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
do.
oh, they're on a bike. Right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes they change the mode of
Yeah.
transportation.
I ordered a pizza
Like,
the other day, just like you would have 15 years ago. It was the strangest experience
I
I've
bet.
had in
I
a
bet.
while.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see my little car on the road
Right.
in and around the
Yeah, yeah,
905.
yeah.
Did they even accept it? Because
Yeah, they
I've
accepted it.
called
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
restaurants and they're like, oh
They
no,
tell you to go to these.
You've got to
But
go to
there's
the
some
app.
places
Yeah.
that do still have their own delivery people.
Right.
So you can't track them. And it was the most bizarre thing to not know when my pie was going to show up. Anyway,
It's like going to rent a movie.
remember that? It happened once upon a time, kids. It happened.
You guys got it easy.
Yes, yes. Melissa Duggan has news coming up after the break. Also coming up, there's an organization in the Durham region that's on a mission to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. We'll tell you more about Girls Incorporated and ways you can get involved coming up at 7:40. It's a Wednesday. You're watching BT. More after this.